So this is the third entry of the current events playlist, current issues playlist, and the 13th overall common book entry. This is going to be talking about. This is kind of a show I thought. This is just kind of something I've noticed, um, like with the coverage of like the Israeli and Gaza conflict, the Hamas conflict or whatever. Um, I feel like the media tends to, because obviously it is, while Hamas did start the conflict, it is more so that the Israelis are going on a bit of a genocide campaign and using, like, we got to root out Hamas kind of as an excuse to genocide these peoples. Um, but I've kind of noticed that the media is almost entirely, I wouldn't say against Israel. Like, these are supposed to be, like, I guess they are, like, opinionated and biased news sites. Like Fox is conservative and CNN's liberal, but it tends to be the entirety of like any like every single time like anything happens, it's kind of like biased towards Palestine a little bit, and there's never any notice of any like Palestine attack. It's just constant like Palestinian victims, Palestinian victims, Palestinian victims. There's nothing to be shown about like is Israel being attacked. Like after they were attacked by terrorist organizations, which did kill, and I'm pretty sure they still have American hostages. Nobody talks about that. I also think that's kind of messed up as a side note. Um, Let me look that up. Does Hamas still have American hostages? Wow. Meet the 7 American hostages still held by Hamas as of yesterday. Why does nobody talk about that? You know what I mean? That's kind of concerning to me. I feel like if I was a hostage of a terrorist organization, I would like to be, saved. I don't know how long they've even been there. I think it was like, wasn't it like a year? How long ago was that? When did Hamas attack? So that was October 7th, 2023. That was over a year ago. So they've been there. They've been in Hamas custody for a year now. Why doesn't nobody talk about that? Why does nobody talk about how Hamas is in fact a terrorist organization? How come nobody talks about the fact that Israeli civilians were killed, American civilians were killed, American like hostages are being held by Hamas? Why does everyone's always like Israel stop the bombing, Israel stop the bombing, but no one ever says Hamas released the hostages. Hamas, give yourselves up. No one ever says that. So I just think that's concerning. And also another point is, like Hamas, like other terrorist organizations like the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and those groups, they hide themselves among civilians to make themselves harder to hit. And if they do get hit, civilians also get hit. So I mean, Hamas kind of knows what they're doing. By hiding among civilians, you are putting them at risk. No one talks about that though. I feel like it's always just Israel is just painted as this terrorist force that is just ravaging civilians and just genociding a people, which is there is some truth to that, but I feel as though no one talks about the other side. No one talks about how Hamas stacked first, how Hamas has hostages, how Hamas hides weapons in hospitals and things like that. No one talks about that, and I just think it's kind of messed up.